Eala puts historic SEA Games gold in a different, more personal league. Not the Bori. Filipina tennis ace Eala has brought pride to the Philippines in more ways than one, making her story nearly every time she steps on the court. Eala's latest achievement shined the brightest and hit closer to home, as she ended the country's gold medal drought in women's singles tennis at the Southeast Asian Games. The 20-year-old delivered the country's first gold since 1999 on Thursday, after a masterclass against Thailand's Maninkaya Sawanki, 6-1, 6-2. Eala turned emotional as she heard the Philippine national anthem being played in front of her family, friends, teammates, and an electric Filipino crowd. I think yun yung panaka nakakayakase akin is when they play Lupang Hinirang or any like the national anthem. Matagal ko ng pinapangarap, yun na ikaw yung makakadala in ganang pride sa Pilipinas. So I'm so thankful, and I'm so humbled to be representing the Philippines, she told Philippine Olympic Committee media. Despite having numerous achievements on the professional level, Eala said getting the SEA Games gold hits different. I think this is a whole another category, Playing with the country written on your back, as you know, and playing in team events brings a different sort of pressure. So I'm happy with how I handled it, the Filipina tennis star said. Ibang feeling talaga yung kapalagid mo yung iyong mga kababayan, she added. The 20-year-old even shared her golden achievement with her parents Mike and Riza, the latter being a 1985 SEA Games bronze medalist in 1985, also held in Thailand. Alexandra Ilamaya joined Victoria Mboko WTA tennis place. It's so special. I think, I've said many times before, young mga Pinoy were so family-oriented. I think that's a part of our culture, and SEA Games is something. I think it's very different than the tour because it's very personal to us, personal to the Southeast Asian countries, and it's special in that way, she said. It's unique, and it doesn't happen every time, so kaya siya ganang ka-important at kahalaga sa aming pamilya, Eala added. Before the SEA Games, Eala has been having a breakout year in the 2025 WTA season, her first WTA final, reaching the Miami Open semis and winning her first WTA 125 title. In my mind, this is the start of the next season. I mean, to end the year on this high is such an amazing thing. I wouldn't think it would happen at the end of the year, she said. For now, the 20-year-old would take some time to enjoy her achievement before getting back to training and preparing for the Australian Open in January 2025. Air's history usually announces itself with noise, cheers, flags, anthems echoing off concrete walls. When Eala won gold at the Southeast Asian Games, the moment arrived exactly like that. Loud, televised, stamped into record books. It was historic because it had never been done before in quite the same way, and because it carried the weight of a nation that has waited patiently for its place on tennis' biggest maps. But for Eala, the gold medal belonged to a quieter category of history. It lived in the small, invisible spaces, between long flights and lonely training sessions, between teenage doubts and adult expectations. It was a victory that meant more than first place. It was proof. The SEA Games gold shimmered with national pride, yet its true value could not be measured by medal counts or headlines. It belonged to a more personal league, one defined not by rankings but by resilience, the long road that rarely makes headlines. Tennis is often portrayed as glamorous, pristine courts, elegant outfits, applause timed perfectly to winners down the line. But Eala's journey, like most real ones, was shaped by repetition rather than spectacle. The same forehand struck thousands of times, the same mistakes corrected again and again, the same mornings beginning before the sun rose, while friends slept or lived ordinary teenage lives. For an athlete from Southeast Asia, where tennis is rarely the default dream, the road is even lonelier. There are fewer shortcuts, fewer precedents, fewer people who can say, "I've been there too." Every step forward feels like walking on a bridge still under construction. Eala trained far from home, carrying her country not as a slogan, but as a quiet responsibility. Each tournament loss came without the comfort of anonymity. Each one arrived with rising expectations. And yet, the most demanding opponent she faced was never across the net. It was the question that whispers to every young athlete, is this sacrifice worth it? The SEA Games gold did not answer that question loudly. It answered it honestly. A gold medal that refused to be just gold. When the final point was won, the scoreboard told a simple story. Match over, champion crowned. But medals do not capture context. They do not show the years when progress felt invisible, or the moments when belief wavered just enough to be dangerous. For Eala, the gold medal was not only about beating opponents, it was about outlasting uncertainty. It was about validating the decision to chase a dream that required leaving home early, growing up fast, and learning to be comfortable alone. The medal ceremony framed her as a symbol of national pride, of sporting progress, of hope for future athletes. But in her own mind, the gold meant something more intimate. I can belong here. Not just in the SEA Games, not just on a podium, but in the world of elite tennis, where legitimacy is often guarded by tradition and geography. Carrying a country, protecting the self. There is a delicate balance between representing a nation and preserving one's identity. For Eala, the SEA Games sharpened that balance. She played not only for herself, but for a flag stitched onto her chest, for fans who saw in her success a reflection of their own aspirations. Yet the gold medal did not swallow her individuality. Instead, it clarified it. She did not win by becoming something she wasn't. She won by trusting the version of herself shaped by discipline, humility, and persistence. The victory did not demand reinvention, it demanded faith. In that sense, the SEA Games gold stood apart from other titles. It was not a stepping stone she rushed past. It was a checkpoint where she paused, if only briefly, to acknowledge how far she had come. Beyond records, toward meaning. Records will eventually be broken. Medals will fade slightly, tucked into cases or drawers. But personal victories age differently. They grow heavier, with meaning over time. Years from now, Eala may win bigger titles on larger stages. She may hear louder crowds, see brighter lights. But the SEA Games gold will remain singular, not because it was the biggest, but because it arrived at exactly the moment it was needed. It came as reassurance during a demanding transition from prodigy to professional. It arrived as evidence that progress does not always announce itself globally before it becomes real internally. This gold medal did not define her ceiling. It defined her foundation,